Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Easy Learning Economics. This is Dr. Kevin, PhD in Economics. Today we are learning about Production Possibility Frontier, that is also called PPF or Production Possibility Curve PPC. Production Possibility Curve. It is also called PPC. Production Possibility Frontier or Production Possibility Curve shows all combination of goods, consumer goods, capital goods that an economy could produce by employing all its inputs, labor, capital, resources and technology. So it gives the various choice to an economy to produce the different combination of goods. So it is assumed, it is an assumption economy employs all inputs including labor, capital, resources in the production of two goods, that are capital and consumer goods. So we are making a schedule of different options available to economy to produce the capital and consumer goods. So this is the capital goods, means machinery, instruments, whereas consumer goods means the pair of shoes, pants, etc. So economy has two options, either to produce capital goods and consumer goods. These are the different options available to an economy to produce, either to produce 120 units of capital goods and no consumer goods, either to produce 140 units of consumer goods with 0 units of capital goods, or to produce 60 units of capital goods and 120 units of consumer goods, or to produce 80 units of capital and 100 units of consumer goods, or 100 units of capital, either to produce 100 units of capital or 70 units of consumer goods, or 120 units of capital goods and 0 units of consumer goods. So these are the different options available to an economy in order to produce the two goods, capital goods and consumer goods. So this can be converted into a graph. Capital goods are shown on y-axis, whereas consumer goods are shown on x-axis. Economy has an option to produce 140 units of consumer goods and 0 units of capital goods, or economy has another options to produce 120 units of capital goods and 0 units of consumer goods, or economy has an options to produce 100 units of capital goods, 70 units of consumer goods. Another option is also available to an economy to produce 60 units of consumer goods with 120 units So this is an option A, this is an option B, and economy could also produce 80 units of capital goods and 100 units of consumer goods. These are the options, different options available to an economy, either to produce 120 units of capital goods and 0 units of consumer goods, or to produce 140 units of consumer goods and 0 units of capital goods. And other option is available to an economy to produce 100 units of capital goods and 70 units of consumer goods, and 60 units of capital goods and 120 units of consumer goods. And this option is also available to an economy, but economy is said to become inefficient. Economy is producing inefficiently because it lies inside the PPF. This point, C point, lies inside the PPF. It shows inefficiency of an economy because it is our assumptions that economy should employ all its inputs, labor, capital, resources in production of two goods. It means economy is producing not to the optimum level of output by employing its all resources. So this point is called inefficient point. And if economy would like to produce at this point D, that is unattainable, because economy cannot produce 110 units of consumer goods and 90 units of capital goods. This point is unattainable because economy cannot reach at this point, because all resources have been used by an economy within this PPF. So this point is called unattainable. And this point is showing inefficiency of an economy. Now we are talking about the main characteristics of PPF. PPF has two main characteristics. One, it is downward sloping, negatively sloped characteristics. It is negatively sloped downward. Number second, it is concave to the origin. Number one characteristics of PPF is that it is negatively sloped downward, because in order to increase the production of consumer goods, we would have to shift the resources towards the consumer goods. If we want to increase the production of capital goods, we would have to switch the resources used in consumer goods towards the capital goods, because some of the resources are efficient in production of consumer goods and some of the resources are efficient in production of capital goods. That's why it is negatively sloped downward. And why it is concave to the origin, because of marginal rate of product transformation. Marginal rate of product transformation, marginal rate of product transformation that is also called an opportunity cost. Because in order to increase the units of consumer goods, the economy has to sacrifice the capital goods. If an economy would like to increase the capital goods, then an economy would have to reduce or sacrifice, forego the consumer goods. If consumer goods are increasing on one side, the capital goods also decreases. So there is an opportunity cost. That's why it is concave to the origin because of marginal rate of product transformation. PPF helps to understand the economic growth. How? Factors responsible for shifting outward of PPF. What are the factors which are responsible, which causes the PPF to outward? Like this. If PPF shift outward, what are those factors which are responsible? Number 1, increase in resources. Like increase in labor quantity and efficiency, quantity and quality, increase in supply of capital, number 2, increase in technology, change in technology, innovative process, or new process, efficiency. Third is efficiency. Means an economy is efficient to produce more goods at the given level of resources, either by giving trainings to the employees, by improvement their skills, abilities, specialization. So PPF shift outward due to these factors: increase in resources, increase in labor quality and quantity, increase in supply of capital, or increase in natural resources like oil, gas, so we can conclude PPF Production Possibility Frontier shows various combination of consumer and capital goods that an economy can produce at a given level of input. PPF has two main characteristics. It is negatively sloped and it is concave to the origin, because in order to increase the production of consumer goods, we would have to switch the resources towards the consumer goods. That's why the production of other goods decreases. and it is concave to the origin because the marginal rate of product transformation or opportunity cost increases. As a result, it is concave to the origin. And the third reason is that change in technology or that increase in efficiency, that increase in specializations to produce more goods at the given level of inputs. Thank you very much. It's all about PPF. Hope it would be clear to you. Thank you.